Mantras of our Divine Mother. Our Divine Mother says, keep your aspiration ardent and sincere, and never forget that you are the child of the Divine. It will prevent you from doing anything unworthy. With always my grace and blessings, says our Divine Mother. Words of our Divine Mother taken from the compilations of our Divine Mother book, The Signature of Truth, page 26, topic, The Ordinary Life and the True Soul. Our Divine Mother says, ordinary life is a round of various desires and greeds. As long as one is preoccupied with them, there can be no lasting progress. A way out of the round must be discovered. Take as an instance that commonest preoccupation of ordinary life, the constant thinking of people of what they will eat, whether they are eating enough. To conquer the greed for food and equanimity in the being must be developed such that they are perfectly indifferent towards food.
Réalisateur suprême, donne-nous une foi ardente, active, absolue, inébranlable en ta victoire. Glory to thee, O Lord, Supreme Master of all realization. Give us a faith active and ardent, absolute and unshakable in thy victory.
Our Divine Mother says, if food is given, you eat it. If you do not eat it, it does not warn you in the least. Above all, you do not keep thinking about food, and the thinking must not be negative either. To be absorbed in devising methods and absence of abstinence, as the sannyasins do, is to be almost as preoccupied with food as to be absorbed in the dreaming of it greedily. Have an attitude of indifference towards it, that is the main thing. The idea of food out of your consciousness is to be thrown out. Do not attach the slightest importance to it, and this will be the very easy one to do when you get into contact with your psychic being, the true soul within you. Then you will feel immediately how very unimportant these things, and the sole thing that matters is the divine. Then you will feel immediately how very unimportant these things are, and that the sole thing that matters is the divine. To dwell in the psychic is to be lifted above all greed. You have no hankering, no worry, no feverish desire. You will feel also whatever happens, happens for the best. Do not misunderstand me to imply that you must always think that everything is for the best. Everything is not for the best so long as you are in the ordinary consciousness. You may be misled into utterly wrong channels where you are not in the right state of consciousness. But once you are poised in the psychic and have made your self offering to the divine, all that happens will happen for the best, for everything, however disguised, will be a definite divine response to you. Our Divine Mother says, indeed, the very act of genuine self giving is, in its own immediate reward, it brings with it such a happiness, such confidence, such security as nothing else can give. But till the self giving is firmly psychic, there will be disturbances, the interval of dark moments between the bright ones. It is only the psychic that keeps on progressing in an unbroken line, its moment a continuous ascension. All other moments are broken and discontinuous, and it is not till the psychic is felt as yourself that you can be an individual, even. For it is the true self in you. Before the true self is known, you are a public place, not a being. There are so many clashing forces working in you. Hence, if you wish to make real progress, know your own being, which is in constant union with the divine. Then alone will transformation be possible. All the other parts of your nature are ignorant. The mind, for instance, often commits the mistake of thinking that every brilliant idea is also a luminous idea. It can, with equal vigor, trump up arguments for and against God. It has no infallible sense of the truth. The vital is generally impressed by any show of power and is willing to see in it the godlike. It is only the psychic which has a just discrimination. It is directly aware of the supreme presence. It infallibly distinguishes between the divine and the undivine. If you have even for a moment contacted it, you will carry with you a conviction that about the divine which nothing can shake or will shake. How, you ask me, are we to know our true being? Ask for it, aspire after it, want it as you want nothing else. Most of you here are influenced by it. Most of you are influenced by it, but it should be more than an influence. You should be able to feel identified with it. All urge for perfection comes from it, and you are unaware of the source. You are not collaborating with it. Knowingly, you are not in identification with its light. Our Divine Mother says, do not think I refer to the emotional part of you when I speak of the psychic. Emotion belongs to the higher vital, not to your pure psychic. The psychic is a steady flame that burns in you. The psychic is a steady flame that burns in you, soaring towards the divine and carrying with it a sense of strength which breaks down all oppositions. When you are identified with it, you have the feeling of the divine truth. Then you cannot help feeling also that the whole world is ignorantly walking on its head with its feet in the air. Our Divine Mother says, you must learn to unite what you call your individual self with your true psychic individuality. Your present individuality is a very mixed thing, a series of changes which yet preserves a certain continuity, a certain sameness or identity of vibration in the midst of all flux. It is almost like a river which is never the same and yet has a certain definiteness and persistence of its own. Your normal self is merely a shadow of your true individuality, which you will realize when this normal individual, which is differently poised at different times, now in the mental, then in the vital, at other times in the physical, gets into contact with the psychic and feels it as its real being. Then you will be one. Nothing will shake or disturb you. You will make steady and lasting progress and be above such petty things as greed, as food, says our Divine Mother. Next topic, stepping back from page 83. Our Divine Mother says, most of you live on the surface of your being. Most of you live on the surface of your being, exposed to the touch of external influences. You live almost projected, as it were, outside your own body. When you meet some unpleasant being similarly projected, you get upset. The whole trouble arises out of your not being accustomed to stepping back. Our Divine Mother says you must always step back into yourself, learn to go deep within, step back, and you will be safe. Do not lend yourself to the superficial forces which move in the outside world. Even if you are in a hurry to do something, step back for a while and you will discover to your surprise how much sooner and with what greater success your work can be done. If someone is angry with you, do not be caught in his vibrations, but simply step back, and his anger, finding no support or response, will vanish. Always keep your peace, resist all temptation to lose it. Never decide anything without stepping back, never speak a word without stepping back, never throw yourself into action without stepping back. All that belongs to the ordinary world is impermanent and fugitive. So, there is nothing in it worth getting upset about. What is lasting, eternal, immortal, and infinite, that indeed is worth having, worth conquering, worth possessing. It is divine light, divine love, divine life. It is also supreme peace, perfect joy, and all mastery upon earth, with the complete manifestation as the crowning. When you get the sense of reality of things, then whatever happens, you can step back and you can remain quiet and call on the divine force and wait for an answer. Then you will know exactly what to do. Remember, therefore, that you cannot receive the answer before you are peaceful. Practice that inner peace. Make at least a small beginning and go on in your practice until it becomes a habit for you, says our Divine Mother. Next topic, difficulties. Our Divine Mother says the nature of your difficulty indicates the nature of the victory you will gain, the victory you will exemplify in yoga. Thus, if there is a persistent selfishness, it points to a realization of universality as your most prominent achievement in the future. And when selfishness is there, you have also the power to reverse this very difficulty into its opposite, a victory of utter wideness. Our Divine Mother says, when you have something to realize, you will have in you just the characteristic which is the contradiction of that something. Face to face with the defect, the difficulty, you say, oh, I am like that, how awful it is. But you ought to see the truth of the situation. Say to yourself, my difficulty shows me clearly what I have ultimately to represent. To reach the absolute negation of it, the quality of all at the other pole, this is my mission. Even in ordinary life, says our Divine Mother, we have sometimes the experience of contraries. He who is very timid, has no courage in front of circumstances, proves capable of bearing the most. To one who has the aspiration for the divine, the difficulty which is always before him is the door by which he will attain God. God, in his own individual manner, it is his particular path towards the divine realization. There is also the fact that somebody has 100 difficulties, it means he has or he will have a tremendous realization, provided, of course, they are in him patience and endurance, and he keeps the aspiring flame of Agni burning towards these defects. And remember, says our Divine Mother, the grace of the divine is generally proportional to your difficulties, says our Divine Mother.